We saw previously how we can use constructors to plug in some values into our attributes. But what if we want to do that later on in the code and we don't know exactly what the values are right when we create the object? Well, we can easily do this using getters and setters if our variables are private. However, if our variables are public, like the example you see here, you can access this make attribute easily by just saying car1.make. So if I make an object of type car and I don't know what type of make it is yet, but let's say now I do know what the make is, so I'm just going to set it to Honda. You can do it by just saying dot make. Now remember, when we use methods, we would say dot the method name and then parentheses and then parameters in the parentheses if there are parameters for that method. In attributes, all we do is say dot make, and this will set it. If we assign it here, it's just going to actually set what car1's make is to be equal to Honda. And we can retrieve what that value is. So if later on we want to print out what car1's make is, we can just say car1.make, and that will return to you what the make is. So you'll actually get Honda here. Now, this is not sort of the path we usually take when we code in Java, because normally you don't want your variables to be public. It's just sort of a convention to protect the values of your attributes and keep that away from other classes or users so that no one messes with it without going through a method. Because you might want to add some method code in order to make sure that what people are passing in is correct and what other classes are passing in is not going to break some of your code. So normally you'll want to use private as your access modifier for your attributes. Now, if you do use private, that means other classes can't just access it this way. So before, when it's public, any class can just access it like this. When it's private, we can't do this. So what you can do is access it through a method that is public. So here we have a getter method and a setter method. So that just means getting or setting the value of your attribute that's private. So this will force other classes or anyone using this class to have to go through your method in order to get this value here. And you could have more complicated code in here. Like for example, when you set make, you could have some code in here that makes sure that the make itself is a valid make and it's not some weird random car that doesn't exist. So if you didn't have this privateness to it, then if someone were to just say car1.make and they wrote something, some garbage data here, then this will be stored and it'll be totally fine, and now they have access to this variable and you just let them use your private stuff. So you will want private for your attributes, and you will make getters and setters in order to access this, because it will error out if you try to access this if it's private. So as you see here, all you'll have to do is say set make and you pass in as a parameter. So here's the method call. You pass in as a parameter the name. So then it's going to go ahead and do this dot make equals make. So this dot make, which is this guy, will now equal Honda for car1. And then we can go ahead and print out Honda, same thing, by saying dot get make, which goes ahead and returns whatever you just set make to, which was Honda. So effectively we do the same thing on the right side and the left side here, but this is the more secure route to take so that you make sure that people don't just start messing with your variables.